What's up? Welcome back to Ask Dan Anything, my brand new apartment. And we've got another sex/relationships question here. Now, I get the similar questions all the time, so each time I'm trying to look for something new to explore in it. Okay? So let me quickly flick through the questions. So, what we've got here, a girl's written in, and she's been together with her boyfriend only 3 months, but they clicked really hard right out of the gate. And it feels like they've been together forever, for a long time. Now, he's always been really sweet and patient and kind, but he never really initiated anything, was never really flirty or sexual. And at first that didn't bother her, because she figured, hey, he doesn't want to cross any lines, I'll just kind of leave it. And this is what we'll be talking about today. Unfortunately, it didn't change after 3 months. She's a very sexual person. She's starting to feel like she's unattractive and gross because she's coming onto him all the time. He's not showing any real interest. It's gotten to the point where she's kind of begging and she feels very unsexy doing this. So she's starting to get bored, but she loves him. She's saying, is there anything I can do to get him more interested and more excited? Now, I won't go much further because I've actually had an update from her since she wrote this to me. They've broken up. Okay, and that doesn't surprise me. And actually, I'm kind of happy for her because most of the time I get emails from women about the same issue, but they've waited years to address it, and they're now deeply invested in a relationship, sometimes even have kids with the guy, and this issue's been there right from the beginning, and now it's like basically unsolvable, right? So today, what I want to talk about is asking for what you want in a relationship. I've already talked about all the sex-related issues. You can look up my videos. Today we're going to talk about asking for what you want. Because the biggest problem here that this particular question brings up is how people do not set boundaries early in a relationship. They don't ask for what they want directly early in the relationship. Now, there's a good reason for this. They don't want to rock the boat. They're in that honeymoon period high, lots of oxytocin and dopamine through the system, makes them way more tolerant. There might be little irritations or little disappointments, but you're so like, wow, it's a new person, this is awesome, that you're kind of like, fuck, I'll deal with that later, it's no big deal. Those little red flags, those little warning signs, you just don't take them seriously. You don't want to ruin this thing as it builds up. Unfortunately, this sets what we like to call a precedent. Setting boundaries is hard. Being confrontational is hard, but it is 10 times fucking harder to break a precedent that's been set in concrete, okay? It's really, really hard to break a well-established pattern or relationship, much harder than it is to set that pattern in the beginning and be a little bit tough and ruthless in doing so. See, the way the brain works, patterns and scripts, they get hardwired in there. They're like, it's like building a road. The more often you use that road, the stronger the road gets, kind of thing. So if you allow something to repeat over and over again, it gets stronger and stronger as a pattern. When you go to break that pattern, it's like trying to destroy an 8-lane highway. Like, it's just covered in cars, people using it all the time to try and be like, I want you to try this brand new little path that I've hacked into the bush over here. People are going to say, no, fuck that. There's a highway right here. I'll just keep following this thing. So if you, for example, if you're in a relationship with a guy who never initiates and you just let that go, I mean, not only is he going to just slip into a follower pattern, he's probably already got a strong follower pattern from previous experience, previous relationships. So he'll settle into that before he's even met you. And then if you set a precedent of not challenging him on that, he's just going to lock in, and it's going to be fucking impossible for him to break out of it later after you've set such a big precedent of not having to do it. See, the problem with setting boundaries later on is it seems very unreasonable. All of a sudden you don't tolerate this stuff that you've been totally cool with. Right? It seems like you've changed, like you've become demanding and entitled. And this is simply because you've actually wanted this thing all along, but you've been keeping quiet about it. But to the person receiving you, they think that you've been fine with it because you really haven't set any boundaries or asked for what you want directly. If you don't ask a guy for what you want directly, he has to assume what you want. And guys aren't very fucking good at doing that, okay? He's going to think that you think like he thinks. And he thinks, hey, if I don't mention something, it means I don't have a problem with it. So you don't mention something, she doesn't have a problem with it. That's what he thinks, right? She takes the lead all the time, she must want to lead. Because that's what I would do. If I did something all the time, it's because I wanted to do it. That's how guys think. You know, we're basic. We're like fucking dogs, you know. So, you've been dropping all these hints maybe, but been really sort of indirect. And then suddenly you come out with the, I want you to change. He's going to think, wow, come on. I can't win here. Suddenly you want this new thing, like when's it going to end? Are you always going to just keep changing your mind? That's so unfair. He's not going to realize that you're now suddenly revealing what you've always wanted. Ruthless standards and direct boundaries should be set from the very beginning, from date number one, from your communication before the date. These kind of preferences should be coming across. You know, I talked to a girl recently, she's a dating coach, and a guy sent her a list of potential options for the date. She sent back, you choose, be the leader. They haven't even gone on the date yet, and she's saying, I want you to lead. Now, if he doesn't want that, fine, but she wants to get that out of the way earlier so they don't even waste time on a date if he's not going to be a leader, if he doesn't like the leadership role. That being said, your standards also need to be reasonable to human kind of equivalent, what am I saying? They need to be reasonable to human capability, okay? Most people, their standards and expectations are set in the realm of the uncontrollable. You want to go to be like a certain height or a certain wealth level, or to be able to do all these things in the same amount of time that it takes 3 people to do it. You need to, before you set your standards, you need to know what they are. What is your ideal partner in terms of values and behavior? Not resources, okay, but values and behavior. And if you're a guy thinking about a girl, what's your ideal girl in terms of values and behavior? Not how she looks, but in terms of, you know, her intentions and how she behaves. What would it look like for you to ask for that directly, right from the beginning? Do you even know what that would look like, what it would sound like? How would you know if they can deliver it? What would you do if they can't? To know all of this before you even meet someone, okay, to be clear on it. Especially to know what's a deal breaker for you. Now, the girl who sent me through this question, she now knows a guy who doesn't initiate and isn't sexual is a deal breaker for her. So don't make that mistake again, okay? Make sure the next guy you meet, he shows that he leads and that he initiates. But also be wary. Can he maintain that? And it's not just the honeymoon performance. I always say reserve your judgment for the first 3 months, because that's when you get the best of somebody. And then after that, when they finally relax, you get to see what they're really like. But end it early if those deal breakers come up. Just because you're feeling high off the person and you don't have to be lonely for a while doesn't mean you should tolerate somebody not being up to scratch. Okay? Respect yourself enough to say goodbye to someone who's showing those early warning signs. Because your ideal partner, there aren't going to be those early warning signs. Okay? They're going to be solid right from the beginning. Not perfect, but they're going to have those deal breaker things sorted. If they can't meet your needs, if they can't meet your basic standards, assume that that's going to continue. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So whatever you're seeing that you don't like, extrapolate that. It's going to happen more, it's going to get worse. If you're cool with that, then it's not a deal breaker. If you're not, end it early. I know that's ruthless, but I just see too many fucking people in horrible relationships with people they shouldn't be in relationships with. And the whole time, they're missing out on people they should be in relationships with. What the fuck's going on? All this wasted time. You've only got one life. Be ruthless at the start so you don't have to set boundaries later on. Okay? So you don't have to break a precedent. Hope that helps. Get in touch if you've got any relationship-based questions that you want me to rant and be ruthless about. dan@brojo.co.nz. There are links below if you want to join Brojo membership and get all our best content. Share the video around, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Peace.